Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and look who I bumped into today at the University of Alberta. No, I'm actually kidding. I had this whole setup planned in my head because I met Myroslava not so long ago, and I was amazed about her story, about her immigration story, about her business story, her success story, and I really wanted to share it with you. I phoned Myroslava and told her, hey, I need you, I want to share your experience with my viewers, and hopefully we can bring some value to you guys today. So welcome, Myroslava.
Thank you, Dasha.
Such an adventurer, such a creative, interesting person. She came here from Ukraine 8 years ago.
That's right.
And I want to share how actually she made it work. She came here by herself, just with $800 in her pocket. And I admire those people. I was a chicken to do this by myself. So I came here with my parents, but this girl, she made it, and she's quite successful. How? So let's see and let's investigate further.
Such a great introduction, Dasha. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi guys. Pleasure to be here and pleasure speaking with Dasha and sharing my experience with you guys.
Yeah, so Myroslava, please tell us, why Edmonton, why Alberta, and how actually did you pack all your luggage and came here with $800? Like, how?
Yeah.
Explain it, please, because I'm very excited to hear your story.
Good question. Well, why Edmonton? It's a simple question. It's the best place in the world. Just kidding. Well, it's a great place to be in and live in, but you know, coming back to my story and why I decided to come to Edmonton is that I was a student in university in Ukraine, and I was graduating and I was planning to continue my studies. And in Ukraine, I did my bachelor's in education. So I'm a teacher of English and Ukrainian. I was writing poetry, I was into literature, you know, always participated in the concerts and was very active part of the community there. And I was like, okay, but I want to travel, I want to see the world, I want to continue my education. For sure, I wanted to do master's degree. And I started doing research, what would be closely related to what I was doing and studying in Ukraine. And in my family, we had a very healthy competition with my sisters. At that time, one of my sisters was studying in Germany. She was doing her master's.
Wow.
And I was like, I can't be behind. I should do something that nobody in my family can do. I was like, okay, I'm going to apply to a master's program at University of Alberta. I did my research, and at that time they offered research assistantship to students who would come here to study. So I applied, and honestly, I had no idea. Like, I learned the process myself. I figured it out, and you know, just because it was a really good opportunity and they offered the type of financial support and research assistantship to master's students, you know, I was like, okay, I should try and give it a shot. I mailed my documents to the university without even, you know, hoping that they will respond back and say, you know, here you go, you're a student now. So for me, it was a surprising fact. But in my life, I know that if you don't knock at the door will never be open. It will never open, so always knock at the door, right door, if you want it, right? Like, if you have a goal, figure it out and, you know, always try. Yeah, and it was very surprising. I was enrolled into a master's program in Ukrainian folklore at University of Alberta. We're actually here right now at the campus at University of Alberta. It's one of the best schools in Canada. So for me, it was really a big life event to come here and leave everything behind in Ukraine. It was an adventure. Honestly, at that time, I had no plans to leave Ukraine or move from Ukraine. I had good life there. I mean, I had friends, my family is there. But yeah, it was just time for me for the next step, to do my master's, to study. And I chose Edmonton. I came here and I've been living here since then.
So how long did it take you since you were accepted and you had to come here? How long did it take you to prepare, get your bags ready, and make a decision?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I was on the 5th year of university in Ukraine, and in September of that last year at university, I started thinking what I'm gonna do next. well, actually it wasn't the 4th year, because I was thinking, okay, after 5th year I'm gonna come here, so it takes some time. So I started applying. The deadline was in November. That's when I was on the 4th year of university. And then they got me enrolled, and they reviewed my application. They sent me the invitation. In December, I remember, right before Canadian Christmas, I get this email that I got accepted, and they offered me this research assistantship, financial support. So it was like a very good Christmas gift for me. So that was the process, and then after that I applied for visa. So the whole process took about a year, I would say. In September I applied, and then in September next year I came here.
Wow, this is impressive. So you arrive here, you, like I already mentioned, with $800, you come here, you have to start from scratch, find your spot in campus, rent something. I'm sure you hit quite a lot of bumps here. Like, this is something that only adventurous people go through easily, but you need to make appointments, make sure you speak good language, people can understand, find connections. Like, how did you manage it, and what are the bumps that you hit, like, and they were really the hardest ones for you?
Yeah. It's a good question, because I think every person experiences it in a different way. For me, to be honest, I didn't even feel it as a challenge, really. I came with one suitcase, it was fun, I was up for adventure. And because I was not sure about my English language skills, I was not sure if my English was good enough. When I lived in Ukraine, I didn't travel that much, and even though I did my studies in English and all that, I was still not very comfortable with how I knew English at the time and I could speak it. So I was like, okay, if they ask me to leave after the first semester, that's fine, So I was like, just go with the flow, not stressing out, arrived at the airport. Then before the arrival, I got in touch with the student who completed that program, was like, hey, would you be able to pick me up and, tell me where to go? And I stayed at her house for the first week. I was trying to find my accommodation, where I'm gonna live. I bought a bike. I was, going to places by bike. It was still nice weather, just like today. Trying to find, a room to stay, driving around in close neighborhoods at the university. And then I found a room to stay, and actually I lived there for the next 4 years until I bought my house. So yeah, very good place, lots of memories. So that was the first step, to find a place to live. Regarding the paperwork, when you arrive, first you also have to do, you get your SIN number, you go to Alberta Health to get your Alberta healthcare card, then you go to the bank, you open your bank account, you get your phone. But in fact, I didn't get my phone until my 4th month in Canada. I was saving money. I came with $800 to Canada. I was like, okay, I have to start with my money. I have to wait until I get my first scholarship from...
It's hard to imagine how can you survive without the phone.
Oh, right now I don't even know how I could do that, really.
Yeah. So from my understanding, you didn't burn all the bridges back at home.
No.
So you were like, sure, if anything bad goes wrong, like,
Absolutely.
you can always go back, and that gave you this confidence, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are here. So like, after going through all of this experience, you're still here, you're quite successful, and there must be something that you really like about Edmonton, about Calgary, about Alberta. What is it for you? Like, for personally, just specific for you?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Lots of even my students, whom I help actually to do the same what I've done 8 years ago, ask me why Edmonton, why Alberta? The first thing that comes to my mind, there are lots of reasons why, but the first thing that comes to my mind is the people. I actually think that people are real here. I travel to a lot of places, to a lot of countries, and depending, like, it's just the vibes, the people. You go out, you meet people, people share their real stories. They are real, they're not fake, and they are simple, they're down to earth. Here, only in Alberta, I think, you can meet a billionaire, like a very successful person who's just wearing simple jeans, from Walmart, driving simple truck. And that's what I admire, that people are not trying to show off, they're not trying to live beautiful life for somebody else. They just live their life and they enjoy it. They are content, right? Another thing is that what actually attracts me here and what I like about Edmonton is cost of living is low, you know, and a lot of job opportunities. Comparing to other cities in Canada, you know, it's just, you can make really good money, sometimes even more than in other provinces or in other cities, but cost of living is lower. You can afford buying a house, you can afford buying a nice car, you can afford travel, you can save money. It's really hard to do that in bigger, like in, let's say, Toronto and Vancouver, where people just save money to pay their bills, right? Like, I mean, I was traveling to Vancouver 3 times this summer and I met a lot of people, and when they say, oh, you travel here and there, you know, looks like you have an interesting life, and then I ask, have you ever been to Europe? He's like, oh no, I have bills to pay. So it just, you know, I feel like Edmonton gives you so much opportunity, so many opportunities to live the life you dream about. So
yeah, and actually I know some people from my viewers will be arguing this. I met some people who are like, yeah, Edmonton and Alberta is very expensive, but I do agree with Myroslava. If you are ambitious enough, if you want something in life, you want to travel, you'll find money to travel. If you have a decent job, you have a decent education here, you speak good English, you have way more chances to actually travel, enjoy your life, meet friends, go out, and just enjoy everything that Edmonton gives you, and other cities as well.
I think I have something to add as well, something that I think a lot of viewers would appreciate. The job market and labor market here. I mean, in Toronto, let's say, or Vancouver, bigger cities, for the same job position, there will be so many applications. And I mean, they will, sometimes even if you are really good at what you do, they just don't get to your resume even, right? Because they get millions of resumes for the same position. Versus here, you know, if you're good at what you do and you have something to bring to the table, you know, I think it's just so many opportunities, and I guess, you know, you can get a high-paid job easier here because the competition is smaller.
I agree. But however, on this point, you still, like, if you move here, I just want to add, like, there's no magic. Nothing will just
100%.
come at you,
yeah.
And like you just, oh, I'm gonna have a good job. You will have to be ready to work hard towards it. But once you put all this effort into it, you have an opportunity to enjoy your life.
Absolutely.
Here. So there's no magic here. It's a hard work. Everyone is working hard. We're pretty, not because like of some magic and unicorns. We have to work hard.
I mean, everywhere you have to work hard.
Everywhere. When you immigrate, you have to.
Oh,
you have to establish yourself. You have to prove yourself. You have to be present, and that's the only way to succeed.
Absolutely.
Right? It is a reality, but you need to come here first.
Yes.
And how people can come here? So Myroslava moved here as a student, and she realized that there are a lot of people who are looking into the same opportunity. They want to immigrate, but they don't want to just come here and start with low-end jobs or from zero. And she figured she can help other people to come here as a student, get their education, and have a chance to start their career from better background. So they have an opportunity to start with, of course, maybe something lower at the beginning, but straight to a better company, straight to the government positions or something like this.
Yeah.
So I want you to share, like, I know some people would be very interested to look into this program, like younger people, people of our age. They are curious, but they don't know where to start. And everyone thinks that it's a lot of money, and it scares them because, oh my God, I have to pay. I don't know how much you can explain, but it's a lot of money that you have to pay at the beginning. What would be the benefits of it? Maybe you can tell us more about it.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when I talk to my students who actually use the service of my company called Best Education Choice, so they ask those questions. They say, how much money do I need to have, you know, to come to Canada to study? So the average cost of education in Canada is about $17,000 Canadian per year. Depending on which program we get you enrolled, you know, whether it's a 1-year postgraduate program or post-secondary program or 2 years, it depends, right? But you know, you have to be ready to, you have to have savings, I would say about $30,000
$30,000.
Yeah, a lot of money, right? I had clients whose parents sold apartments back home to make sure that their kids go study here because they see it as an investment. And I think that the biggest ROI, the biggest return on investment is always an investment in yourself, right? In your education, in your skills and knowledge. Because, yes, you invest in a 2-year program, $34,000, for example, then you graduate, you are eligible to apply for post-graduation work permit. Again, they give you a chance, like if you are smart, you have Canadian education, they give you a chance to stay here and work, right? They give you a chance to stay here and make some money. And with that education, I remember my first job, I was working as a business development manager for a travel management company. I was making about $60,000 per year. So it's real, it's possible, you graduate from university and yeah, $60,000, that's what you can aim for, Again, it depends, but if you calculate and put the numbers together right away, you can see the return on investment, right? So you can basically save some money there, and that money that you spent on education, you'll get it back, right? Mm-hmm. So there is really, I think it's a no-brainer. If you have that opportunity and you can afford coming here to study, absolutely, because it's not only you're getting that education, it's also an opportunity to stay here, live here, and be successful.
Yeah. So am I getting right that yes, it's a big investment right at the beginning, and you have to come here, study hard, but then as a benefit, you start right away with a higher paying job, maybe not the highest because you're just new and you have to prove yourself, but at least your first step is already set in your success, right? Yeah. And then it's just a matter of like couple of years for you to earn enough money to pay back to your parents and buy them a new apartment. Again, in the center of, I don't know, Kiev, means maybe not Moscow, but like somewhere in Moscow as well. Yeah. That's my feeling. Like, yes, it sounds like a lot of money at the beginning, but it's worth it. It's worth it if you are ready to put the hard work, right?
In fact, just an example, I met one of my students a couple days ago. He graduated his 1-year program. It doesn't have to be 30,000. There are cheaper programs. And if you have graduated from a university back home and you have your bachelor's degree, we can find you a 1-year 3-semester program, for example, at McEwan University here in Edmonton. It's a 3-semester program. The total cost is $17,000 Canadian, which is about $13,000 US. So he actually borrowed that money from his uncle, and he came here and he's like, okay, when I'm gonna get this money back? I was like, okay, you have to first find your part-time job, because you don't want to spend all your savings on your living. As a student, you can work part-time, 20 hours per week. So that should be sufficient, enough for you for living expenses. So he did that, and then he graduated in August, and he already found his first-time job. And I met him 2 days ago, and I was like, how is it going for you? How is your job? He's like, actually, it's so much fun. I'm learning a lot. I was like, so were you able to plan your savings accordingly to return your money? He's like, absolutely, I'm gonna return my money in January to my uncle. So it just depends. There is different costs and different saving abilities of different people. Depends what you're buying, what your spending habits. But it's an investment and with a very high ROI for sure.
Nice. So guys, talking with Myroslava before and having this nice conversation today, what I learned is that you have to be a little bit adventurous. You have to be ready to study hard, work hard, but at the end, like I mentioned before in my videos, it's worth it. Edmonton, Calgary, Alberta in general, there is way more opportunities here. Yes, everyone is aiming for Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. It's beautiful places.
Actually, not everyone.
A lot of people do, because it feels like you gain more from it. But at the end, there is way more competition there, and you can start your life better here. And then in the future, if you really want to, you can move further. But then you have a better background, you have already experience in Canada, and you have more opportunities to earn decent money, have a beautiful lifestyle, and enjoy your life in Canada. Or if you're done with it, you can always go back and live somewhere else, or go back to where you're from. So guys, I'm very happy that you joined me, you shared your story, and I'm gonna leave in my description, I will leave information how can you reach Myroslava if you have more questions to her, your website where people can look for more information about the programs that you offer. Guys, feel free to reach out Myroslava. Feel free to contact her, ask your questions, leave your questions in the comment section below. Likes, dislikes, yes. So we
Hopefully
know.
more likes. I mean, we wanted to make it helpful for you and
Yeah,
help you
so-
with some information. So.
And it also gives me a chance to see, like, guys, if you want me to look for more people like Myroslava, find more people with the interesting stories to share with you, so you can consider what are your steps in life, and if you want to immigrate, or maybe it will help you at your home. Doesn't matter. So likes, dislikes, comments, feel free to subscribe so I can make more videos for you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Myroslava.
Thank you.
For coming.
Appreciate it. Yes.
And stay tuned, guys.
Talk to you soon.
Well done, guys. You killed it.
Wow. Wow.
Whoa.
I feel like one shot is just good enough.
No, that was great.
What happens if two girls just like to talk? We can talk for hours.
Yes.
Camera, no camera, someone staring at us.
I even
people
didn't
walking.
feel like we were filming, to be honest.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dasha.
You're
Yeah.
awesome.